So we're working on the chassis of our 65 Chevelle. We decided to assemble as much of it as we could to make it basically a running and driving chassis without the body. This way we could break in our camshaft and get the motor kind of roughly tuned up without having to lean over freshly painted fenders once the car is all assembled, to minimize the risk of scratching those. So as it sits here, we've got our 350 small block, the new Holley aluminum heads, the new Comp Cam in there. And when we did the break into the camshaft, we actually ran this a couple days ago. We broke in the cam using the cast iron exhaust manifolds because these Flowtech headers have a coating on them, and if you do a flat tappet cam break in with these coated headers, you're risking hurting the coating because you got to run this thing between 2,000 and 3,000 RPM for like a half an hour. And when the coating is brand new, it doesn't like that. The coating likes to be heat cycled a few times, and then it'll last, virtually forever. We also did a quick hang of our stainless MagnaFlow dual exhaust system. These kits are really nice because everything is stainless. They've got an X pipe in the middle. The muffler design is a flow-through design, so they really minimize back pressure, and they sound great when they're running. So we've got everything ready to go here, and we wanted to show you a quick and easy way to do an engine test stand. Quick and easy. Just take your car apart completely and build the chassis. If you're going to do a frame off, you can do this on the frame, or if you have an extra chassis, or even if you just want to build a stand to hold the motor, you can wire it up so that you can run this thing without having to have the rest of the car. The only thing you got to be careful of, we've got a can of gasoline down here that's open, so that always has dangers, so make sure you've got fire extinguishers handy. And one of the most important things of all is to make sure that if you've got your driveline connected, that the transmission is not in gear. Because I'll be honest, we started this thing already once and the transmission was in gear, and luckily our rear end was on our Go Jacks, which have rollers on them, so it wasn't a situation where I flipped the on switch and hit the start button and drove over myself and died, but that could happen, so use extreme caution. So up here we've got a little panel, we've got a start button and an on-off switch, and we've got some gauges, voltmeter, water temperature and oil pressure, and we've got a tachometer connected. And then we've got our radiator that's full of coolant. We've got a Spall electric fan that runs off a temperature sensor here, just like it will in the car. Nick in our shop fabricated this cool steel radiator shroud, fan shroud, so that this thing cools properly. Our whole Vintage Air front runner, front drive accessory system is installed, trans lines and everything. So I mean, this is, if you put a body on this and connected the brakes, you could drive this. We're running a Holley Ultra Street Avenger carburetor on this. We literally took it out of the box and just set it on the motor and started it up. We had to do a couple adjustments after we did our initial cam break-in. We reset the float levels and tune the idle, lean the idle out a little bit. And we're running an MSD digital E-curve distributor. So we set a very conservative curve in this thing so that it wouldn't give us a lot of advance during our break-in. But all this stuff's easy to tune, obviously, because it's all, you just reach out and grab it now. So right now, this thing's ice cold, hasn't been run today. Let's see how it sounds. There you go. Sounds real good. We've got great oil pressure. This is our little throttle lever here, and we put this little set screw on here, so if we wanted to hold it at a certain RPM, we could let that sit. Right now the valves are adjusted a little bit loose because it's, again, break-in stuff. We'll tighten those so you could hear a little bit of valve noise. But success. Our cam is broken in. We didn't flatten out any lobes, and that's a concern with flat tappet cams these days. To prevent that, we used Royal Purple break-in oil, which is a mineral-based oil that has a lot of zinc ZDDP additive in it, and some Comp Cam's valve train spray. Every high-tech lubricant we could use so that we didn't risk hurting our new camshaft. And then we put our prime tool on it, and we primed the system so that the oil pressure was brought up before we ever started it. And now, as soon as we get the car painted, we can throw the body on and take it for a spin.